welcome to College Football Playoff Semifinal edition of College Football Chatter. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm your host, Reed Napper. Up here speaking, we got my boy Trey and Colton, a.k.a. Ono Sports. Gentlemen, how are we? Good evening. Happy transfer portal season. It's in full swing.
Yeah,
you say yeah, right?
I don't think anything about the transfer portal is necessarily happy.
Well,
it's like watching a college football drama series.
Yeah, that's to put it lightly, for sure. With all the news, I mean, we're only 4 days into this thing now. Goodness gracious, it's something new.
I've had more
around every corner.
I had more heart attacks. I've had more heart attacks in this 4 days than probably a lot of people had in their entire lives.
Yeah, trust me, and Colton could tell you the conversation we were having earlier about it. This is wild. This whole thing. I mainly thought this was insane when I saw Parker Livingston flip from Texas to Oklahoma, and that's when I knew that there has to be a point that there's got to be like restrictions, cutoffs. Like this is why I think if you're going to transfer, you shouldn't be able to go to a team within your conference. You have to transfer out of conference.
Sure.
I think that's got to be a restriction that's put out there personally.
All right, you got a point there.
I know.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There has to be more limitations, or else we're just going to see 4,000 players into the portal every year and more every single year as it becomes less of the term Wild West is thrown out a lot. Mm-hmm. It's more like Syria, it's more like Yemen than a Wild West.
This guy,
honestly,
bro, he's getting geopolitical.
He got real geopolitical. But I'm like, this is little, that hater side of me, that animosity, that chaos kind of me that says Parker Livingston going to Oklahoma just made Red River rivalry that much better.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely will have something to play for next year when Texas and Oklahoma meet. But to get into it, I mean, goodness gracious, what hasn't happened in the transfer portal? It's only been open going on 5 days now, and it's insane. It's almost like the stock market. There's always something happening at any time of day.
Absolutely.
That's a good reference that I equate it to. So right off at the top, I'm going to just go through some of the most notable transfers that have happened or in this early portion of the portal. Brendan Sorsby, quarterback from Cincinnati, transferring to Texas Tech. Rocco Becht, Iowa State quarterback, following head coach Matt Campbell to Penn State, along with a ton others. Josh Hoover, quarterback from TCU, going to Indiana. That, personally, to me, has been the most notable signing so far. I think, once again, Indiana gets a great quarterback out of the portal. And if it's anything to go by the last 2 years, especially this year with Fernando Mendoza, obviously coming out of the portal from Cal, going to Indiana, winning the damn Heisman Trophy. Like, if that's anything to go by, that's the blueprint for Indiana. Quarterback whisperer and literally as we speak, there's a big name that just landed. So we'll talk about that in 1 second. We'll get to that. Literally breaking news as we speak. Josh Hoover going to Indiana, I think, is the biggest signing of the portal window so far, but obviously another one just dropped. Kenny Minchey, as we prefaced, transferring from Notre Dame, initially committed to Nebraska within the first 24 hours of the portal opening, flips last night. At the time of recording, it is Tuesday night. As of Monday night, flips to Kentucky to join Will Stein in Lexington, which is absolutely insane. You commit to one school in the portal, back out to another team that is allegedly offering more money. I mean, from my point of view, Kentucky just put out the blank check and said, put whatever number you want. So he's going to Kentucky. Other notable names, Cutter Boley leaving Kentucky to be the quarterback at Arizona State, replacing Sam Leavitt, who is also in the portal as of right now. He is in between Kentucky and LSU from the look of things right now. Texas Tech was in conversations with him as well, but obviously Texas Tech went in the direction of Brendan Sorsby. So Where does that leave Sam Levitt? You would have to think LSU is the main player here. Obviously, with Minchie going to Kentucky now, I'm sure Kenny Minchie doesn't want to be a backup. So you would have to think LSU is the main favorite for Sam Levitt, who is the best quarterback in the portal at the moment. Also, with the whole Kenny Minchie debacle, Nebraska is still looking for a quarterback as their quarterback from 2025, Dylan Raiola, is also in the portal as of right now. And I guess we can get right into the breaking news as we're talking live. Stud wide receiver Jace Brown of Kansas State is now going to LSU. He just committed about 1 minute ago, according to Zach Nagy. I will put the tweet up in the jumbo for everyone that comes in the space. The Kansas State wide receiver logged 115 receptions, over 1,900 yards, and 13 touchdowns across 3 seasons with Kansas State. That's a huge weapon for Lane Kiffin in year 1. Obviously, if he gets his quarterback in Sam Levitt, that offense is going to go up a notch, especially what they also just signed a Trey Brown receiver from Old Dominion. I believe also put up close to 1,000 yards with the Monarchs this year. Was another standout wide receiver out of the portal. So LSU making moves. They also signed defensive lineman. This is going to be a tough name for me to pronounce. I posted it earlier. I couldn't even pronounce it when I was posting it. Stephiland Green. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but Stephiland Green.
Just go with it.
What'd you say, Colton?
Stephiland,
thank you.
Stephiland.
Stephiland Green, defensive lineman from Clemson, also going to LSU. He was ranked as the number 6 defensive line prospect in the On3 portal rankings. So, gentlemen, I guess let me get your thoughts. Jace Brown, huge wide receiver prospect, going to one of the wide receiver U's along with Ohio State. He's going to LSU. So, Colton, immediate reaction to Jace Brown.
that's a great get. I think it's going to go alongside well with Sam Levitt. I think Lane Kiffin at LSU is, off to not a slow start because they're getting dudes, but I think the assumption was that Ole Miss gets bounced, right? And then the hype around Ole Miss kind of dies out because it's like, oh well, they weren't the same team without Lane, and that's clearly not the case. They might be a little bit better without Lane Kiffin. So now it's kind of like, okay, well, Chambliss for sure. I think he re-signed. Keywan Lacey re-signed. I don't think any of the defensive guys are going to be quick to re-sign because their coordinator is now the head coach. So I think Lane might have a little bit more trouble. Now, saying that, they do obviously just land Jace Brown. And all things point to Sam Levitt being their next quarterback. So I don't think it's too bad. But I think Lane kind of overestimated exactly how much he was going to be able to take from Ole Miss with him to Baton Rouge, which will be interesting. I think we're going to start seeing a pivot. I think Jace Brown might be the start of that, although, he's good enough to be just a guy you go after either way. But yeah, I think we're going to see the start of a massive pivot from LSU.
For sure. Sosa, good evening, my friend. All right, we'll give him a second. Trey, you there?
Oh, what was that? Listen, I got
Oh, hello.
I got nothing for the transfer portal. I only pay attention to one team. I don't really be giving a fuck.
Okay, well, I know you are a Notre Dame guy. So do you have any thoughts on?
Unless it's somebody we get.
Do you have any thoughts on Notre Dame? I guess their lack of signings to this point, or anyone they're going after?
No, because last year we were really, really affected by players going to the NFL, and I think we reloaded and we used players that we developed. The number one thing for the last couple of years was that we needed a quarterback very badly in the transfer portal, and that's not the case. We have a homegrown quarterback. Now it's just about putting the pieces again around him to continue to elevate him. Obviously, losing the 2 running backs was huge, but I love the fact that Aeneas is going to be the starter. I think Aeneas immediately is vaulted into as a top 10 running back at turn next season.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's a matter of just getting a couple more weapons, man. You know what I mean? You gotta have real weapons out there. I think our defense will be better. We didn't really lose anybody major or nothing like that. And I expect for Marcus Freeman to continue to, develop players and fill the role and not necessarily have to abuse the transfer portal. But I think people expected more from us just simply because the last few years we've had to go get a quarterback, and that played a bigger part in what we've done in the portal than anything else.
For sure. Trey, what are your biggest takeaways from the portal saga so far?
Number one, Jace Brown going to LSU. I think that's a home run hire for both teams, for both sides. Jace, a guy who has shown that he can not only stretch the field, not only in the short to intermediate game, but also in running posts and go routes. I mean, he's a guy that Lane can honestly put in the outside or put in the slot, and he'll do fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
In general, again, kind of like what I alluded to before the show started, that loyalty that just because such and such is from respected area, he should be, does not entirely mean that he's going to go there. I think that this is college football is continuously showing why it is now minor league NFL football. And it's continuously going to show over and over about who really is there to get developed and who's really there for the money, or maybe both.
See, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, considering that all four of the quarterbacks that are in the Final Four are transfers,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's always been the minor leagues for the NFL. But it's just that people now want to find some sort of moral. They want to do this moral grandstanding or this thing where like they think it should be fair when it's never been fucking fair ever.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I think that there's two sides to the story, and I do like how NIL has changed this now because it's now established more balance. It's a double-edged sword, honestly. But me talking specifically towards Jace Brown, I think it's an A plus get for both sides. I think in totality, Reed, you kind of alluded to it earlier. It's like with Minchie. Like at first, Minchie looked like he was going to go to Nebraska, and Nebraska was going to finally find their starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And then overnight, Will Stein says, "Nah, I need you here. And if I gotta spend a little extra dollars to get you here, so be it." And now it's worked out, and now Kentucky has their starting quarterback for a future. But I mean, it's like I said, for any fan, if you're actually actively paying attention to it and you're socially involved with your team and you're one of those overreactors, you're going to be having multiple seizures and strokes because you're just that involved and you're wanting what's so much best for the team. And right now, for some teams, it doesn't look too great. So,
for sure. I mean, the biggest takeaway for me so far is, I guess, the upper echelon of teams that are getting the biggest bulk of players out of the portal, i.e. Penn State, getting the majority of Iowa State, Oklahoma State, getting the majority of North Texas. But I mean, you saw that coming with the coaches that went to those respective schools. The biggest surprise for me out of the portal is easily Indiana. Once again, I mean, Indiana has lived off the portal the last 2 years, and they haven't broken a sweat. Again, as I preface, Josh Hoover from TCU, the quarterback, Toby Osunsami, edge rusher from Kansas State, Nick Marsh, wide receiver from Michigan State, is going to be a stud. Him and Josh Hoover, teaming up on the offensive side of the ball for Indiana next year is going to be must watch. And then they have a couple other players out of the portal right now, and it's only going to get better in my opinion for Indiana because the progress that they've been on the last 2 years, being what they've gotten out of the portal since Ignetti got there, they are clearly on an upward trajectory to be, if not the current number one team in college football, all things considered. And they're only getting better. I mean, they're going to keep getting top talent out of the portal. They currently have the third best ranked recruiting class according to 247 Sports. Like, Indiana is going to be something to reckon with. Not just the current season that we're in because they're in the college football playoff semifinals, not next season based on the transfer haul that they are getting in and the players that are going to be returning for them, but for the next 5 to 10 years potentially. I mean, if this track record keeps up with Cignetti in this like his pedigree of getting portal players, like Indiana is going to be here for the long distant future, in my opinion.
Honestly, and you're talking about Cignetti, we're talking. I'm more people need to be talking about what Joey McGuire is doing.
Yes,
because as
that was gonna be my next point.
Joey McGuire just got another person out of the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of somebody who has been in and so far already been in the transfer recruiting battle for a player, it's death row, arguably, in Lubbock. And when I say this as unless they really don't want him to be there, or they, they rather go elsewhere. He's really, like, Texas Tech has made a lot of noise. And I mean, it's just as time goes on, you're talking about Indiana's going to be a staple in the Big Ten. Texas Tech is looking like they're going to be the favorite in the Big 12 for the foreseeable future.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
All right. Yeah, I think we kind of knew that when we found out the money situation with Mark Cuban, right? As soon as the football team becomes good, Mark Cuban decides to tell the world that he went to Indiana. So clearly the money is not an issue. I will say this: one thing that we have to give credit to Cignetti is this: Cignetti's always been a recruiter. That's always been his role as a guy, way back to when he was even with Saban, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that what we neglect is everybody talks about these 4-star, 5-star. That's not where this works. It's about getting the players that fit the roles exactly how you want them to do that. And I think the best thing about Cignetti that we've learned over the last 2 years is that he doesn't ask players to do things they can't do, which is why they're good. He don't ask edge rushers to play inside. He don't ask his quarterback to go do things or ask him to do things he can't do. He asks him to take care of the football and manage the game. You feel me? And we've seen that the last 2 years. Obviously, Rourke is not as good as Mendoza, but I think that's what we're missing. We're not necessarily missing, but like, I think that he has a direct blueprint as to how he wants to build a football team year to year. And I think he's done a very good job of consistently doing that, even at JMU. But like now, you're really starting to see it now because it's on the front line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And Trey prefaced the next point I was going to make. Texas Tech is also right up there with the portal that they're getting. I mean, yeah, they got Sorsby at quarterback. I'm more impressed with the defensive signings that they've gotten. Austin Romaine from Kansas State was a top linebacker coming into the portal. Trey White, a defensive end from San Diego State, was one of the best defensive ends in the country this year. So I personally think the Sorsby signing is great. It's clearly an upgrade to his name is escaping.
Brendan Morton.
Thank you, Baron Morton. Yeah,
Baron Morton.
Yeah, it's a clear upgrade from Baron Morton. But I'm impressed with the defensive signings that they've gotten so far. Personally,
hold on. Listen, this is my thing, okay? And I'm gonna preface. I'm gonna compare what I think is going to happen in Texas Tech.
Yeah,
Texas Tech is going to be like Gonzaga basketball. They're gonna get to a point where they start dominating the Big 12, and then when they got to play teams that play more physical opponents week to week, they'll get their ass busted just like they did against Oregon. That's what's going to happen with them because they're going to dominate the Big 12. They're going to pay kids to get there, and then when they get up against a certain team or one type of team or a team that they can't match in the trenches, which will happen every single year, they'll never win a championship.
But is it really their fault that the competition level of the Big 12 doesn't stack up to?
No, it's not even just not the competition level. It's just like what you see consistently. There's never a shock factor with the athletes that they're going to see in the Big 12. But as soon as they have to go to a college football playoff and those margins are closer, that's when you'll see it. That's what you saw against Oregon, and that's what you will continue to see with that. And that's why I referenced Gonzaga. Gonzaga plays shitty teams all year. And then when they get to the playoffs or get to the tournament, they get up against teams that can match them physically because all they do all year is just beat up on bad teams. Then when they finally see somebody that can match them, they fucking fold. That's what's going to happen with Texas Tech every single year.
Yeah, for sure. I don't hate that. I don't hate that comparison, to be honest. Like, I just think, I mean, I agree. It almost is a problem that their whole conference it doesn't stack up to their competition level. So then when they do face those bigger teams, like I said, Oregon, Indiana, Ohio State, like they're just not prepared. They're just not prepared because they haven't seen a competition level, to that standard. Some of the other names notably out of the portal as of right now, Byron Brown, quarterback from South Florida, following his coach Alex Golesh to Auburn. As I said earlier, Raiola is still in the portal. Lagway has gone on a couple visits. Namely to Florida State, which is very surprising if he were to go to Florida's rival. But he is also, it just came out a little bit ago that he is going to be taking a visit to Baylor, which is, his obviously where his dad played. So I think that's also interesting if he were to go to the Bears. And I also had one more down here. Oh, well, obviously Sam Leavitt hasn't announced anything yet, but he is still in the portal as of right now. Was going on a visit to LSU.
Leavitt's not going to Kentucky?
I mean, no, they just got Minchie, so you wouldn't think he'd go to Kentucky.
Minchie.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I thought he was target. I thought he was target numero uno.
Yeah,
they went out of it.
Yeah, you would have thought he would have been target number one, but obviously Minchie going there. They probably thought that Minchie could provide what they needed for, a lot cheaper. Is my opinion. That's why I think they went after him personally.
They got money.
No, yeah, I'm not saying they don't, but I mean, if you can bargain where you can. Trey, I wanted to get your thoughts on this next because obviously I am a Penn State fan. I'm going to be biased about this. I think our portal haul has been, pretty solid so far. With the majority of it being Iowa State players, but I guess from an outsider's perspective, do you think Penn State could take a step up, obviously, in year one with Matt Campbell and the portal haul he has gotten from Iowa State, or do you think, it's going to be some growing pains no matter what we get from the portal haul in year one under Matt Campbell?
I think that in totality, it's going to have some growing pains just because of the fact that making that adjustment from Big 12 to Big 10 is going to have. I mean, every coach is going to have to make that some type of adjustment. But I don't think it's going to last as long as what people initially think. I honestly, sorry, my phone just dropped. Honestly think once Campbell really gets into the thick of it, kind of like a situation of where if he's able to establish his culture first, is able to let his players know. I mean, he's got a lot of great players to come in with him. Rocco Beck, number one, Chase Owell, another one. Both your running backs, I believe, are also traveling to Penn State, which I think that honestly, that's really where it is. And the fact that my thing isn't just the people that you guys have acquired, it's the people you've gotten to stay. Number one is Brendan Arrington. I know a lot of people are looking at it and be like, oh, well, they lost this person, this, and I'm like, to be honest with you, Iowa State isn't too, like, their offense was not bad for what I've seen. Like, they lost a lot of, they established a culture quick. They were able to do this. They weren't up to the level what we see from like Arizona State or anything, or Texas Tech, but they were able to establish themselves as not a great team, but as a very good team. I think that as soon as if Matt Campbell can honestly come in and do what he's known as doing, which is being able to generate a good offense and take a lot of pressure off of that defense, I mean, I think that Penn State will be able to do some things. I'm not going to sit over here saying that they're going to be in contention for a Big Ten championship, but you're not going to be seeing losses like, oh, we just lost to Northwestern. We lost to UCLA.
For sure.
We just had a game where it just looks piss poor. Like, no. I think that Matt Campbell is going to be able to build Penn State back up to the level of what Nittany Lion fans have been wanting for years. And I mean, the one way that you can do that is you get your own guys in the building, and he's done a phenomenal job of getting his guys in the building to go with him.
For sure, and that's what the fan base was kind of expecting with getting Campbell. Is you're expecting to get a lot of the Iowa State players to follow him there. I think the biggest thing for me right now is a lot of them are, veteran players. A lot of them have played multiple years of college football. So it's not like you're getting freshmen and sophomores in there that haven't played,
Absolutely.
Any snaps of college football so far. There are a bunch of players that have played meaningful snaps and gotten meaningful game time for Iowa State. And I think that's going to be a good translation to, what to expect from Penn State coming this season. One of the biggest surprises for me in the portal so far, at least I guess one of the bigger surprising teams so far, is what's going on in Tuscaloosa. A bunch of players from Alabama have gone into the portal. Mainly Jalen Mbakwe, Richard Young, Jalen Hale, a lot of notable, up and coming players for Alabama. They might have not gotten the game time, so they're not known on a national stage unless you really follow college football and like recruiting and everything like that. But these are like key players that you would have expected to get meaningful game time this coming season for Alabama, and they're not there anymore. So I guess, Trey, the question I'm proposing to you is what is happening in Alabama? Because I've seen multiple people, on my timeline bring up, is DeBoer really the right fit to carry on the legacy of Nick Saban? Now, from my perspective, no one is ever going to live up to the, standard that Nick Saban has set there at Alabama. No one is ever going to live up to that legacy. So I guess the real question is, well, it's a two-parter. So is DeBoer really the right fit at Alabama because of all these players, leaving, potentially not entrusting him with the direction that they're going at Alabama? And two, what do you make of all these players leaving, and like what direction do you see Alabama just going in general, heading into 2026?
Yeah, I think that number one, the Jalen Mbakwe one, the one that really caught me off guard.
That's a great signing for Georgia Tech.
That's a very good signing. From what I heard, I believe it might be vice versa. I think that when Alabama came in, I think that was the guy that Saban actually recruited.
Mm-hmm.
And Saban left, and then they were trying to flip him because he's a pure athlete. I think that they tried to flip him from wide receiver over to DB. I think that's what it was. I think they tried to flip him from wide receiver to DB.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really work out too well. He started falling within the depth chart. And it kind of he knew that, hey, he needed a new change of scenery because Bama wasn't going to let him, have as much playing time as he wanted. And I think that this Indiana loss has not only it's not just they beat them. It's that now this has opened the eyes of not only to DeBoer, but everybody who associates themselves with Alabama, because this is not DeBoer is not Nick Saban.
Sorry, just to cut you off real quick. It's about time they open their eyes, because I've been saying this since day one that he was never going to live up to that standard, and Alabama fans never, changed their perspective on it. It's like, oh, we're Alabama, we're going to compete for a national championship every year, which by namesake you should, but it's not going to be an immediate turnaround. Like, oh, it's just plug and play DeBoer, let's go, we're going to the Natty every year. Like, that's not the case anymore, and they never adjusted their view to that.
Absolutely not. And this is the thing about how I saw it, is that number one, you alluded to it, which is no one is ever going. I feel bad for who I said I was going to feel bad for whoever's going to take Saban's spot, because this fan base is going to want them to win now. His fan base has such high expectations that we know that DeBoer is not going to be able to fill off rip.
Mm-hmm.
They are setting unrealistic expectations. Them losing 3 games in his first year was an eye-opener. Them doing what they did beforehand was an eye-opener. Them not being able to run the ball. We've known Alabama as a team that has solid trenches, that's got solid to good to really good trenches,
Mm-hmm.
and a really good run game. They did not have that at all this year. I've heard from Alabama fans say they need to revamp their entire running back room.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So I mean, like for me, I think that this was a great thing. Full fourth quarters. Anything that Alabama thought that they could run ended in the first quarter of the first half. Like you tell me, Ty Simpson, a guy that people are thinking is going to be one of the top quarterbacks that is going to get drafted this year, was sitting over there looking like he needs to go back and probably spend the rest of his collegiate career in college before going to the NFL. Like Indiana did that to them. I heard from multiple Alabama fans that said, to be honest with you, I overlooked Indiana. I just thought that I looked at them for what their logo is. And then when they got beat from the pinnacle of attack. That kind of opened everything up, and now I think this is DeBoer, and this is people should know Saban is still in the room. Saban still has an office. Just because Saban says he's not a coach does not mean he's not still in the part of the organization. But I don't think he has anything to do.
I listened. No. Mute everybody's mic. Read. I listened. Now it's
Go
my
ahead,
turn.
Mr.
Now it's
Bama fan.
Stop. Mute your
Go
mic.
ahead, Mr. Bama.
Mute your mic. No, seriously, mute your mic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you're going to cut me off and I'm going to get mad.
Go ahead.
No, mute your mic. Okay, cool. All right. First and foremost, you guys are out of your fucking minds if you think that something's wrong at Alabama. They went to a playoff game, lost it, and made the.
My fault.
They went to the school. They went to a playoff game, won one, made the school $50 million, then got undressed in the second one. Okay? I promise you. Also, you talking about Nick Saban's legacy. Nick Saban's legacy is good. Kalen DeBoer, again, made the playoff, won a playoff game. They're fine. They're totally fine. They got to switch quarterbacks because Simpson's probably going to go. Yeah, bro. Alabama's fine. They got $20 million they're about to spend, and they're going to fill that roster and going to be a top 10 team all year next year. And remember, you can lose 2 games and get to the playoffs. So this whole identification of record, we need to let go of that. We need to let go of that. You can lose 2 games and get to the playoffs. Shit, you can lose 3 games and damn near get to the playoff. How many games did Alabama lose this year too?
They lost 2 in the regular season, the SEC championship, and then Indiana.
Okay, so there's your answer. You don't have to. The whole idea of like being dominant in college football is over with. It's win enough games to get into the playoffs. That's how I look at it, at least. You know.
No, understandable. But as for what I have heard, this isn't my. I have not mentioned anything about Saban's legacy. I said I feel bad for whoever takes up behind Saban because of the high expectations that comes with being the Alabama head coach. That whole thing is what my perspective is. Am I sitting over here saying Alabama has become deterred? No, but am I sitting over here saying that Alabama has the fans and everything else that's associated? They kind of understand that this isn't. They have to find their own niche now. Yeah, there's no issue with Kalen DeBoer as a recruiter. Alabama's always going to recruit. That's a given. Everybody knows that. But it's the X's and O's and putting the game on the field. The thing about it is, these fans, I've heard from them personally, where they have literally just told me today, they said, we need to get better in the trenches. We need to get better in the running back room. That is what I have heard from them. For what I have seen, Yeah, they made the playoffs. We expect them to be in the playoffs. It is just how they came into this game against Indiana. Indiana sat over there and they sat there and told me. I looked at the logo. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I didn't believe what Indiana was. And when they saw that, that was more of an eye opener and saying, "Hey, this is going to be a tougher road, and we're going to have to find that different niche." That is what I've been saying. But I'm not sitting over here wondering, oh, is Alabama still going to be the same Alabama? Yes, they're going to be the same team. They're going to be the same team that's going to get the top recruits, that's going to get the top talent. It's not a matter of them having the talent, it's being able to use that talent to their advantage. Being able to have that talent to put on the field to not only get them to where they feel comfortable, but put them in a spot to where they can win championships again. DeBoer is not Saban. We all acknowledge that. They're going to have to let DeBoer do what he needs to do. I did not think that DeBoer going to Alabama was a good idea because I feel like they kind of rushed him.
Mm-hmm.
He had talent at Washington. He did. It's the sad part is you can have all the talent in the world and you didn't really get anything out of it. You got one playoff appearance, you got one national championship appearance. I knew off rip. I said, honestly, I do not feel like DeBoer is going to be able to do exactly what Alabama fans want them to do or what Alabama boosters want them to do. We have heard from Alabama fans who were considering it saying, hey, maybe DeBoer ain't the right coach. Maybe we need to move off of DeBoer. We can't act like these rumblings did not happen.
For sure. No doubt. Jake, good evening, my friend.
Hey, what's going on, Reed? How you doing tonight?
Good, brother. Good. Hey, if anyone in here is not following my brother Jake, aka College Football Red Zone, go give him a follow right now. Great content. Some of the most unique college football content on this app, no doubt. We were talking about Alabama. I guess the downfall that has been Alabama over the last few seasons compared to when Saban was there. My main question was, with all these players that are leaving Alabama through the portal, I guess some of the players that were going to be taking that next step for them come into 2026. Do you have any thoughts on like the direction that Alabama is going? A direction you think they should take? Is DeBoer the right fit? Just like anything, related to Alabama at this point.
Yeah. So I'm going to kind of hop into what Sosa was saying as well as what Trey was saying earlier. First and foremost, I actually thought Kalen DeBoer actually did a pretty good job coaching, all things considered, this year. I mean, this was a team that was very flawed in terms of what we saw from the defensive side of the ball this year, where we saw this team get gashed consistently in the running game, especially in SEC play. I mean, Ahmad Hardy had a field day against that Alabama defense, and then offensively, it's been well documented as well. They couldn't run the ball, so it was all Ty Simpson on the offensive side of the ball. So having those types of flaws on your football team and you're still able to go out, you make it to the SEC championship. It's arguably one of the best conferences in the country. I know the SEC, we want to argue whether it's the best conference in America, wherever we're at, but it's one of the best conferences in the country. I think we can all agree on that. It's at least top two. They made it to the SEC championship game, and then couple that with being able to at least win a playoff game and do that on the road as well. So in spite of having all of those flaws, you still made it to the quarterfinal of the college football playoff. That is still an incredibly good year. I just think that, as what Trey was saying earlier, you're comparing to what Saban did, and that Alabama dynasty that happened under Saban. And now that we're in this new era of college football, I think we need to really reanalyze our expectations. That kind of dynasty, I don't think that's even going to happen anymore. It just ain't.
Yeah, for sure. Just any thoughts real quick on the players that have left Alabama, or players that they are targeting in the portal? Just any thoughts on that real quick?
So just looking at this team holistically, Alabama's going to be fine. I'm looking at where Alabama currently stands right now. We're looking at Alabama is going to have a top 5 recruiting class. Okay, they're currently sitting number 2 overall when you combine what they did in high school recruiting as well as what they're doing in the transfer portal as
For
well, they're gonna be okay. And Kalen DeBoer, like, yes, he had talent at Washington, but oftentimes Kalen DeBoer at the same time, he was often the second best team on the field with those Washington teams, and he was still able to get Washington to a national championship game in a 4-team playoff before really we saw NIL really take place, right?
Yeah.
And really see the full effects of that, right? So this year, honestly, with how sudden Saban retired, this was honestly his first real season as the Alabama head coach, because he didn't really have a chance to really fully implement his process because of how late he got in as the Alabama head coach, and kind of had to play damage control to make sure that not as many people entered the portal, because he didn't have any avenues to replenish his roster for anyone that left in the prior offseason. So listen, everyone's going to be concerned about Alabama and the way they got worked. I mean, Cignetti's just a machine, man.
He is unbelievable.
So I mean, look, they got their ass beat. I mean, no one's going to sit here and deny that they got their ass beat. But at the same time, like, they're going to be fine. They're going to be just fine under Kalen DeBoer.
For sure. We're gonna go around the horn here for this next question. I'm gonna start with Colton. Most underwhelming portal teams so far, just based on what we thought going into this portal cycle. Colton, I'm gonna start with you.
Most underwhelming. Oh, that's tough. I haven't really. It's hard to think about the teams who aren't doing stuff right now. Because virtually every team right now is trying to fill holes except Texas Tech, who just is in a whole different league.
Yeah.
I
have one off the top of my head.
Off the top of, I'm trying to think of like new coaches. I guess Kansas State with Colin Klein. I haven't heard much of them. There's Florida State. I mean, they just got Trey Wisner, which is big. They got Ashton Daniels, which is, I mean,
okay.
Okay, yeah. I would say probably. I mean, Florida State. You don't come to think of Florida State really at this point anymore. 2 back-to-back not good seasons.
Yeah.
They're not. You don't think of them as like a splash. They're going to go out and get another. What's the kid who went there from Michigan State, the wide receiver?
Nick Marsh.
No, he went to Indiana. I'm like a couple years back. Went to Florida State when they went to. Should have went to
Keon Coleman.
Yeah. Like stuff like that. When it's like, Florida State could be. Florida State, I would say, is a team that should be in the mix and isn't. I haven't really heard much of them. I'm trying to think of other teams. Georgia Tech,
the one
usually is a team. Go ahead.
I was going to say the one for me personally is Michigan. I haven't seen a lick of anything from Michigan. And I was expecting them to at least bring like some players from Utah with Whittingham. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't seen anything with Michigan, which is really surprising for me based on the NIL that they have, just the recognition that the University of Michigan has. I haven't seen anything. And that's the most surprising team to me so far, like in this whole portal cycle. I mean, we're only 5 days in, but still.
Yeah, that is fair. I think the biggest thing for them is just locking down Bryce Underwood for the time being.
Oh, for sure.
I haven't seen much of them. I honestly haven't seen really anything from them other than I think they got the Penn State offensive lineman or a tight end.
Yes. Oh, I'm blanking. Yes.
Yeah, I would say Florida State getting Ashton coming off of, it was not Jane Daniels.
Ashton Daniels.
Yeah, Ashton Daniels, but their quarterback from 3 years ago when they were really good, going to DJU from him.
Jordan Travis.
And then, Jordan Travis to DJU, and then to Tommy Castellanos.
Oh, goodness.
And now Ashton Daniels. It's kind of like, I mean, I like Ashton Daniels' mobility, but I like Castellanos' mobility. And I mean, I was excited for Florida State for the first week of the season, and then it was back to Florida State,
I'm
kind
sorry,
of being the
I
Florida State of
can't.
the world.
I'm trying to hold back my laughter while you're talking. I literally, the downfall of Jordan Travis, who was a potential Heisman candidate before he broke his leg, to
Yeah, it's
DJU,
rough stuff.
to Tommy Castellanos, who I had been saying since February that he was never the answer for Florida State. I have receipts that Tommy Castellanos was never it.
I
And
mean, there's one thing you can't deny, though, is that he was the answer for Alabama.
dude,
You can't deny that.
Dude, I had
they put everything they had in Alabama, and then that was it.
bro, Colton, I should do what you did. I should make a montage of the Florida State fan that was bogging me down about, oh, Tommy Castellanos was gonna be it. Yeah. I said at best he wins you 6 games. They went 5-7. So
yeah, got benched at BC.
Yeah, he's
I was never a huge Castellanos guy. I've tried my hardest to have faith in Mike Norvell because they kind of invented the portal. You know, them in Colorado were the first ones really to be like, hey, we're building through the portal.
Yep.
And since then, it's Indiana. I will say for India, this is getting off track, so you can stop me whenever you feel like. But to quote the great Moneyball, my favorite movie of all time, anybody who's not tearing down their philosophy and building it through what Kurt Cignetti has done at Indiana, they're dinosaurs. They are dinosaurs. And that's the frustrating. And you see even them, they're like, okay, we get it. Kurt Cignetti, okay, we'll get a few guys out of the portal now. Like they got 3 guys in the last couple of days, and it's any fan base of any team who's not to, this is a personal thing, but Nebraska, it's like you're going after people in the portal, but you're playing by a set of rules that nobody else is playing by.
Yep.
It's like if Texas Tech is able to get whoever they want whenever they want, why is it okay? We can't spend. We're gonna let Kentucky come in and take our quarterback. We're gonna schedule a visit. We're gonna offer him, have him commit, and then schedule him for a visit 5 days in the future. It's not how it works anymore. This is the NFL. You don't say, hey, is it Kyler Murray? No. Somebody in the NFL is trying to get a contract, and you don't go to an NFL player and say, hey, we want you. Come visit us next week. It's, hey, we need you on a private jet tomorrow to come here to sign the contract.
And they pick you.
Exactly. You don't. There isn't a room for error anymore. It's you either get people, you either pay up and overspend and become Texas Tech, or you're okay with losing battles and then becoming teams like Florida State, teams like Clemson, teams like Nebraska. But anyways, we can continue on to topic. Sorry, got off topic there.
No, you're good. You're good. So just on Michigan real quick, they have lost 20 players through either transferring or, backing out of their commitment. So they were freshmen coming in, and I forget what the term they use, but they backed
release from the national.
Yes, release from their letter of intent. Yes, thank you, Trey. So they've lost 20 players. They've brought 1 player in, and Colton. It was a Pitt. It's a long snapper from Pitt. That's who they got. Nico Crawford. Shout out to that one guy from Michigan. That's great. That's great. Trey.
Hey man, listen.
Oh,
listen.
Yeah.
If y'all see the end of that FCS national championship game, though,
yep,
those long snaps, real important.
Yep, one of my best friends from college was a long snapper. So nothing against the specialists. Oh, okay.
Look at y'all, man.
Trey, I hate you also have your notifications on. Trey, turn your notifications off, bro. let me do this. Let me do this shit, bro.
This is your time, Reed. Go ahead, bud.
You know what, Trey? Let me Let me have the 4 real quick. I was actually going to come to you next.
James Peoples commits to Penn State, running back from Ohio State.
Hey, thanks, Colin. Steal my thunder. Let's go. That's huge. That's huge, bro.
That is a huge one. The team, y'all keep taking the ones I had because my first one off the top of my head was Kansas State. And then ironically, my second one was Florida State. Honestly, the team that I feel like is underwhelming because so many teams hype them up as a dark horse in the Big Ten, and it's Nebraska. I get it. You lost.
Here we go,
you
Colton.
lost your guy. You lost your guy. And Dylan Raiola. I know he broke his leg. You fired his uncle or whatever. But then you flipped around because I'm also going to break some news.
Anthony Calandria.
Anthony Calandria. You went from Kenny Minchie to Anthony Calandria.
Jeez, they pulled a Florida State in the matter of 5 days.
And everybody talks about how great of a recruiter Matt Rule is. And no doubt, can he recruit? Yeah, sometimes. But you just went a full 180. You went from a guy that you had a reason to be confident in. You let him flip to Will Stein in Kentucky. Now you went around and you said, hey, we're going to go get a former Virginia transfer, a guy who is coming from UNLV, and he's going to be our guy. This is not what I expected from Nebraska to be. Am I asking Nebraska to do exactly what Texas Tech is doing? Absolutely not. But I mean, y'all, we have been in this for a minute, and y'all talk about how much Nebraska wants to compete in the Big Ten. They're not showing it. They're really not showing. At this point in time, I would have brought back Dylan Raiola.
The biggest thing is when the Penn State job opens and rumors are swirling and it's going to be Matt Rule. It's looking like Pat Kraft's best friend's going to reunite in Penn State. And then Nebraska extends him. They don't up his numbers, but from that point on, Matt Rule's like, hey, we got money now. We lost a couple big battles last year that cost us probably a couple games because that defensive line was atrocious. We lost Lee Hunter. We lost the battle on David Bailey. Both of those guys took an extra $400 million to go to Texas Tech. And now it's we got money. And the first big signing is a guy who you get at a discount compared to Raiola. It's a guy who's been a perennial backup for his whole career, who's admittedly pretty talented out of high school, definitely has a lot of upside, definitely fits your system more than Dylan Raiola. And before he can even step foot on campus, after committing, talking with his agent, saying he was going to sign, it's, okay, well, Kentucky just offered me double what you're offering, and within the next couple hours, I'm going to be signed with them. It's you can't talk the talk and not walk the walk and expect the people to be happy with settling for Anthony Calandria. I like Anthony Calandria. I don't think there's anything wrong with Anthony Calandria in a system like Dana Holgerson's in an RPO based system where you're not Aaron. He's not Dylan Raiola. I think Dylan Raiola is waiting on Miami and Oregon to get knocked out of the playoff, and then he's going to one of those two schools and he's going to be elite. But
I mean, he could be like Austin Simmons, but I mean, not everybody's Austin Simmons. Go ahead.
Listen, I'm excited for Austin Simmons to get a shot at Missouri. Like he did
absolutely.
He did not do a bad job at all. Started. I mean, he just was unfortunately a victim of Trinidad. He got his one opportunity.
He took it,
and he went off.
Hey, they're on island time down there, bro. Did you hear this song?
Look. It's not all
Trinidad, throw another dime.
Oh my god. Which one is worse? That one or the We Gon' Shut Tonight? Like, I don't know.
That Tyler Shuck one's tough, but I digress.
Yo. But honestly, Nebraska's been very underwhelming. I agree. I expected more from Colin Klein, especially him coming back. I get it. Your biggest get was you kept Avery Johnson, which I didn't think Avery was going to leave anyway because he literally has Lincoln Cure still there. But yeah, no, those teams. I'm going to get my off against Florida State. Yeah, no, Florida State lost a lot of players, especially in the wide receiver room. Which I hate to do this with the Florida State fans, but it goes back to the fact that you fired your best recruiter. Why are you getting rid of Patrick Surtain Sr.? Like this is part of the issue there.
I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves right now, I mean that when they got left out of the playoff back in 2023, I believe, after that undefeated season, in spite of winning the ACC title, that was when the program broke under Mike Norvell. I don't think they're going to get back on track until they get a brand new head coach. I mean, and I like Norvell. Norvell, you know, he seems like a solid guy, right? He's not like the type of coach like you look at him, unlike a Brian Kelly type that looks like has like a punchable face. Like, no, he's like a solid dude, but. That being said,
for
though,
sure.
That being said, that is someone where you have to go in a different direction eventually. And I'm actually surprised that Norvell was not let go, given what happened the last couple of years.
And I mean, y'all want to know another team? If y'all want to go right down the river, hey Florida, outside of getting Aaron Philo,
Evan Pryor.
What have y'all really done?
They got Evan Pryor today and re-signed Baugh.
Oh yeah. Okay, I guess that's cool.
That backfield's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, bet Florida rushing all day long because they're not gonna throw worth anything.
Eugene Wilson going in the portal doesn't help them at all.
Yeah, like cool. You kept some of your young guys. You kept Dallas Wilson. You kept Jalen or Baugh. You kept those guys, great, but it's like now when you're looking at it from this standpoint, how are you getting better?
Mm-hmm.
How is Florida? How is it that we're going to make sure Florida isn't the same team as what we saw them doing this year or the year before, where they're sitting over here wondering, oh, are we just gonna go get another kid? Like there's been so many underwhelming teams. But I think that those schools especially, they deserve to be pointed out.
So one team that I actually wanted to bring up that I think not a lot of people are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly have been really disappointed with LSU during this first half of the transfer portal period.
Really?
Yeah. So hear me out here. So you got Lane Kiffin, right? And I understand like they're doing fine in the transfer portal right now. I understand. I think they're in like the top 15, top 20 right now. And they do got like a couple of like solid guys, right? I like the Stephon Green signing from Clemson. I like that they got Ty Benfield from Boise State as well.
Yes, great signing.
But you have to like compare that to the expectations, right?
Yeah, Jay. Did you see they got Jace Brown?
Did they just now?
About an hour ago. About an hour ago, yeah.
But I think, but I'm still going off of what I've seen, in terms of comparing that to really how Lane Kiffin has been seen and his reputation in being like a portal king, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's very telling that none of the Ole Miss players right now are transferring over to LSU, even though Ole Miss has a fair number of guys in that transfer portal themselves. Matter of fact, Carius Kern flipped from LSU. He's now going to Ole Miss.
Yep.
Right. So in a vacuum and looking at rankings, like LSU is doing fine. I mean, they're in that top 10, top 15, but in comparison to what Lane Kiffin is and what he's done at Ole Miss, the fact that Ole Miss is ahead of you when you have evidently more resources than what you had at Ole Miss, I think that's very telling about how Lane Kiffin is perceived. I think in the eyes of a lot of these college athletes that are looking for new homes right now.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. I mean, the perspective of a player that wants to go to Ole Miss, like, and they see their head coach just up and leave, in the middle of what's going to be one of the most historic runs in Ole Miss history, potentially to a national championship, and he up and leaves to one of their rivals. like that is very telling to me as a former student athlete myself. Like, I want to be able to trust everything I have in the head coach, the assistant coaches. So everyone that went with Kiffin and everyone that is going to go with Kiffin, and even Kiffin himself, like if I were in those student athlete shoes, like I wouldn't want to go for a man that's going to leave me at any other second, go behind the back of the university that I'm working for, basically give no indication that I'm leaving until the very second that I am walking out the door, going to the airport to get out of there. Like, I don't blame any Ole Miss player for not wanting to follow him personally. Like,
and you know what? I think 5 to 10 years from now, I think Lane Kiffin will regret that decision. I really do. Just thinking what he's accomplished at Ole Miss, in comparison to what Ole Miss has been perceived historically. You know, we're really talking about a situation where, you know, Lane Kiffin could have had a statue built.
Yep.
Out there in Von Hemingway Stadium. He was that good. What been perceived as, you know, the best head coach, like in the history of Ole Miss. And I think someday he'll be appreciated for what he did. But right now, like that, I think he's going to regret this decision, like him going to LSU, and that's playing out in the transfer portal. And you know, the lack of signings and really big time signings besides the two people that I talked about personally.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I guess any other, you know, closing thoughts here from you, Jake, or Trey, you know, just on the transfer portal in general. That's all we were going to cover tonight. We've been going for over an hour now. So we'll get to the semifinal games on Thursday, obviously full predictions and everything like that. But any, you know, last thoughts on the portal drama so far?
Yeah. Don't ever go and deal with a kid who is going to end up ghosting everybody and then hitting the transfer portal just because he wants to, or just because he's hearing from parents or agents going elsewhere, because then it's going to kind of give you a kind of not so good of a background. Yeah, that one's gonna be the one, because honestly, for me personally as a Missouri fan, the one thing that I hated seeing is, number one, going to go and get something to eat, and then you look up and one of your best pass rushers just hits the portal without telling anybody in your coaching staff.
Yep.
That he's going to the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Reed, I know you talked about this as a like a former student athlete myself. So a little bit about me. So I was a student athlete myself. Like I went to like a Division III university. Ran cross country, ran track like for 4 years, and you know, just the type of recruitment that they have to navigate now, like in comparison to, you know, what I had to deal with like 10 years ago.
Crazy.
And probably what you had to deal with back when, you know, you were going through the high school recruiting process. I mean, I feel, you know, it is a tough swimming for these high school kids, you know. So I know that we spend a lot of time here. You know, we really obsess over, you know, the transfer portal and, you know, like who's going to go where. But, you know, like a lot of these high school athletes, like they're going to get boxed out in all of this. It's, you know, it's shameful, and, you know, I don't know what the fix is. So just thinking about our high school athletes that are, you know, going to be traversing this kind of environment, and we don't seem to have a fix anytime soon.
Yeah.
No doubt. The whole system is fucked, to be honest. To put it frank, it's fucked.
Yeah, it's. I love kids. I'm not gonna say that NIL needs to go, because I think that kids still definitely deserve to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, this you a lot of these kids are putting their favorite game in front of everything, and they're putting their lives on the line to play their favorite game. And they deserve some compensation for it. But at the end of the day, you're still gonna have to say that just because it seems like it's all good and fine and dandy doesn't mean that there's still not some restructuring that needs to be done. I think that especially there needs to be some restructuring done on the amount of times a kid can hit the portal. Of course, there can be some outlaws of reasons why they could hit the portal multiple times, but in totality, they can't just up and hit the portal just because they just want to hit the portal.
Oh, absolutely, and I just hope it's like understood. Like the kids need to be paid, right? Because we are watching, these student athletes like take part on the field, and they're like you mentioned, Trey, like they're putting their bodies on the line, and we seen some scary situations in the bowl game. We don't know if those kids are going to play again. But yeah, like I agree. Like at the same time, we got to have some guardrails in place, and the NCAA, like they are not going to do anything. Like we got to be realistic here. Like we need better centralized leadership, such as what Nick Saban is calling for. Until then, like a lot of the problems that we're seeing, like they just aren't going to be fixed right now.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I mean, like I said, and y'all got y'all stuff where y'all a student athlete. I'm a former collegiate equipment manager. So I'm watching these kids get their NIL deals. I'm watching them promote the brands that they're promoting while they're part of these such NIL deals. And it's a great feeling. But then as you continuously go on and you look at it from a different standpoint, it's like just because, I have such and such, or just because I feel like I should be at a Division I level, I need to go into the transfer portal because my dreams and aspirations are to go Division I. Just because you seem like you're a Division I player does not mean that other coaches see you as a Division I player.
For sure.
And to be honest, even if you are a Division I caliber player, that doesn't necessarily mean that Division I is the best fit, right? Because I remember
Absolutely.
going through my high school recruiting process like a decade ago. Like I promise I'm not like a peak in high school, peak in college type. I promise not to be that type of guy. But we all know those types, right? But I mean, I remember having Division I offer on the table, and I could have gone Division I, but I remember visiting that particular campus, and I won't say names because we always like to adore the praise in public, what criticize in private.
Yep.
But after visiting this campus, I realized very quickly, hey, this isn't the place for me. So that's how I ended up going to like a Division III school when I had the opportunity to go D1, and it ended up working out because I mean that's where I met my wife. That's where and she birthed me a beautiful baby boy. So that's what kids need to realize too. Just because you can go D1 doesn't mean that D1 could be the best fit for that person.
Somebody went to a Division II school. There's some Division II schools got better facilities than Division I.
And that was a big thing. This particular D1 school, like I kid you not, like there was some D2s and D3s I visited that had better facilities for my sport.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Well, that's all I had for tonight. Trey, Jake, any last thoughts at all?
Listen, man, appreciate being on the show with you, man, and keep an eye out. We got a massive announcement.
Yes, sir.
Coming out sometime tomorrow or sometime this week. Depends on when I can put the graphic together.
Yes, sir.
But we got some got some big things planned for tomorrow, and of course, the rest of this non-football playing part of the calendar, because there is truly no off-season college football. I think
never ever. Yes, sir. Took the words right out of my mouth. Trey, last thoughts.
I told Reed this before he started. I took the liberty of buying a subscription to 24/7 Sports. So I'm going to be looking around. There's been some rumblings that there will be some commits from the Missouri side. Some guys from certain programs that are looking for a new fresh start. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Missouri might be rumbling a little bit later tonight.
And they will stay rumbling because they don't do anything.
Yeah. Look. I'm gonna give you. I can't believe. I'm just ignoring it. But nah. Honestly, there's some things that's going on that's in the running. a certain Notre Dame player who has hit the portal is looking like he's about to commit here very soon.
Well, I'll make sure to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, for myself, Reed Napper, host of Love for the Game, Jake, aka College Football Red Zone, Trey, Sosa was up here, Colton was up here, Oh No Sports. Make sure to give Jake and Trey a follow. Again, Jake, great college football content, some of the most unique college football content on the timeline. Is very, aware and tries to get almost every fan base involved, no matter who you support. So, again, go give him a follow for sure.
I found something else.
Trey, you're really going to interrupt me, bro?
Hey. So it's funny because we just talked about Nebraska. A certain former Missouri quarterback is on a visit to Nebraska.
Calandria is going there, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and put Bo Prabeel on that roster too. Anyway.
Nah,
yes, sir.
Bro, he's going to Virginia. He's going to Virginia Tech, bro. Like,
for what I've seen, it might be Yellow Jackets.
Well, because that's very interesting. Because Ethan Grunkmeyer, I know that he's going to Virginia Tech right now. I know he signed Go James Franklin. So yeah, actually, that wouldn't be like the craziest thing in the world if Bro Pribola doesn't end up going back to Virginia Tech. I'm sure he doesn't want to deal with the quarterback battle, given that he was QB1 in Missouri for the past year.
I'm hearing that it's Bryce Baker, the former North Carolina quarterback that is also heading to Virginia Tech.
Dude, Bo Prabula at Georgia Tech. Goodness gracious, that'd be insane. that'd be crazy.
I mean, he's basically like he plays exactly like Haynes King.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's just not as like stocky and looks a little bit. I digress. Never mind. We love Haynes King on this program.
He's definitely one of the college football dudes.
He definitely puts everything out there on the line.
He plays like I would play like EA college football if I turned the wear and tear off.
All right, with that, for myself, Reed Napper, host of Love for the Game, Jake, aka College Football Red Zone, Trey, Sosa was up here, Colton was up here, Oh No Sports. Again, make sure to stay tuned to the timeline. Jake and I have a big announcement coming out either tomorrow or sometime later in the week. But again, a huge dude. It's the damn transfer portal. There's always something, bro.
He's got it too.
Oh my god.
He's about to crash out.
Oh my god.
He's got another Penn State guy just committed.
Dude, he's going to USC, bro. Soraya Fisher, bro. Going to USC. Yeah, well, good. You have fun coming back to State College, whenever we play USC this year. So, oh goodness.
Hey, speaking of reunions, like Ole Miss and LSU,
dude,
next regular season,
dude,
that's going to be.
Isn't that like week 3 or something? Like it's early.
Oh yeah, it's early. It's early in the season,
bro. I can't wait. Dude.
That hatred is just going to be flowing, and I'm here for it.
Dude, isn't it in Oxford too?
It is in Oxford.
Oh
yeah.
God. Oh no. Oh goodness. Well, again, hopefully I can do it this time without anything happening. We'll be back Thursday. College football preview show. We'll probably do a live watch along for the Miami and Ole Miss game as well. So stay tuned.
Oh wait, I got breaking news.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm just fucking with you,
man. we will have breaking news sometime this week. We will. That's the truth. You and me, Jake.
Yep.
All right. Again, we're getting out of here. Appreciate everyone tuning in. We'll be back Thursday. Probably a little earlier because the game is at 7:30 on Thursday. So probably be a little earlier. Back same time, same place. College football preview show for the college football playoff semifinals. Have a good evening, everyone. We'll catch you on Thursday. Appreciate it. See ya. Breaking news!
Breaking news!